I'm Mary Fitchner from Cheyenne, Wyoming. I'm going to read you a story I wrote today called Rusty and the Pot of Gold, a Rusty the Ranch Horse tale. I wrote the words, and my daughter illustrated the book in watercolor. She is a student at the University of Wyoming in the art education program. This story is about pots of gold and treasures and rainbows. I wondered how many of you have seen a rainbow up in the sky. It's one of the most beautiful things you'll ever see. It's a beautiful day here in Cheyenne, so it's fun to talk about rainbows. Did you know that the order of the colors is always the exact same? It starts with red on the top, then orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet on the bottom. The only way you're able to see a rainbow is if the sunlight is behind you and water droplets or rain is in front of you. The sunlight breaks through the water to make the beautiful colors. And the reason the order never changes is because red has the longest wavelength, so it's always on the top because it is the longest one. Violet or purple is on the bottom as it has the shortest wavelength. I also wonder if any of you have ever heard about there possibly being a treasure or a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. That's a story that some people believe. Maybe some of you have gone to see if there's actually one there. So today, in this story, Rusty's cowboy decides to go find out if there is a treasure at the end of the rainbow. So let's read what happens when him and Rusty spend the day going to find out. At the ranch in the sunrise hung one plump gray cloud. Clear raindrops made sparkles, and a rainbow shone proud. Rusty was busy tail flicking at flies when the vivid, bright colors caught his brown eyes. Red blazed like fire with exploding bold color, showing off as if boss of all of the others. It would be the only if it had its druthers. Orange was so stunning, just like Rusty's hair, gleaming and glossy, making eyes stare. Such color added much to the rainbow's great flare. Yellow glistened and twinkled like a night full of stars, or lots of bright headlights glowing on cars. The intensity matched the bold sun from afar. Green seemed to flow through the center so strong, helping the rainbow look brilliant and long. If it made its own sound, it would be a sweet song. Blue was so deep it looked like a wave, one that the ocean generously gave to smooth out the rough parts and roll strong and brave. Purple stood under the rest of the colors, just like the youngest of sisters and brothers, being protected by all of the others. Maybe you can hear the sound of that airplane flying by in the sky. Rusty was awed and gazing up high, so the cowboy took note and looked to the sky. As the rainbow stood stately, his heart felt a thrill. Such beauty is free, doesn't come with a bill. The cowboy had heard of a big pot of gold at the end of each rainbow, and he would be bold. Right there in that minute, he decided to chase. To the end of that rainbow, he wanted to race. He picked up the reins and jabbed with one spur. Rusty's heart felt the goal. Off they flew in a blur. They galloped right through a meadow so thick, the red mountain flowers on his hooves made a click, like a grandfather clock that has a loud tick. Rusty's muscles worked hard as he focused to run. His orange shiny coat gleamed in the sun. Finding the pot would be way too much fun. Faster and faster they ran toward the pot, past fat yellow blossoms, so gold they were hot, as they focused ahead on the magical spot. They reached a green pasture where grass was so tall, it looked like a green flowing hand-knitted shawl. The goal was in sight and making its call. You can just barely see their heads in all that green tall grass. Rusty carried the cowboy on through the great field, underneath the blue sky, as strong as a shield, just like the one a warrior would wield. All of a sudden, the rainbow was gone, so he stopped at a fence where the river was drawn. Hanging there on a wire was the silk rag he'd lost. The wind stole off his neck at the last springtime frost. Its bright violet color just flapped in the wind, seeming to have a message to send about the blank spot where the rainbow did end. The cowboy grinned big as he pulled the scarf down. Rusty just watched without making a sound. The landscape they worked in was treasure indeed. Maybe it was the pot, thought the handsome young steed. As they headed back west to get on with their work, Rusty the ranch horse wore quite a smirk, for he knew he had seen 2 rainbows that day. Now the pot that he dreamed of was full of his hay. So what do you think Rusty might have learned when he realized there was no pot or no treasure at the end of the rainbow? It seems like he noticed that the treasure was there all the time. All the colors of the rainbow were in the beautiful landscape that he lived in. He just needed to stop and notice and count his blessings. So I have a little challenge for you. When you get up in the morning, find one thing to be thankful for and one blessing. And when you go to bed at night, find one more. One thing that you're thankful for your day. And see if your happiness doesn't increase, because I'm pretty sure it will. And I would love to hear from you. Please join Rusty's Remuda and go out and count your blessings.